Let's keep up the amazing work.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Sutton, and today I have with me my friend, Minister Darrell Brown in the house.
Well, good morning, sir. Good morning, WBOK family. It's great to be here again this morning.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So we've got a lot for you today, and looking forward to the show. I hope that you will be participating with us. You're hearing my voice, and you're hearing Darrell's voice. But we would love to hear your voice. The WBOK 1230 AM talk line is 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422. It is 7:03 a.m., folks. If you got to be there at 7:10, you got 7 minutes, and just a few more minutes if you got to be there at 7:15. So get up and get going. God's blessings with another day. I don't know about you, but I am so happy that the Lord has blessed me with waking up, opening my eyes, planting my feet on the floor, and put me in this place to be with y'all.
Amen. That's amen, Brother Will. This is the day the Lord has made.
Absolutely.
We will rejoice and be glad in it.
Indeed.
All right.
Well, there's a lot going on, and I'll tell you that during this show, we're going to hear from Dr. Sam Asgharian, who is the Chief Medical Officer at Gurnt Health. I think I'm saying both of those names and words correctly, but we'll get him to help me out a little bit. But we're going to be talking about colon cancer and some different ways that a blood test can, you can get that colon cancer screening and the importance of having that check. So we're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking about Mackenzie Scott, who at this point has donated something like $750 million to HBCUs just this season, like in the last few weeks. And so we're going to have Mark Barnes, who is executive with the United Negro College Fund, formerly of Dillard University Development. But this has been his life, fundraising and philanthropy and HBCUs. And he's going to give us some insights on how to think about and look at what Mackenzie Scott is doing. So I'm looking forward to that conversation.
Wow, she's making a very impressive impact on these universities, especially HBCUs. So that is more great news, and I really hope that sparks an interest with others to give more as well.
Absolutely. Well, the big news yesterday out of City Hall was that the City Council passed a $1.6 billion budget. $1.6 billion budget. So, yeah, sure. It's a lot of money compared to my bank account.
Very good. Mine too.
But compared to what it takes to run the city of New Orleans, frankly, it's not enough. It's not enough. It need more money to deal with so many of the things that, we love this place, but there's nary a person who doesn't have concerns about a light somewhere or construction somewhere or a pothole somewhere
That's right.
or drainage somewhere. Or, I mean, just, the list goes on. It depends on who you are, where you live, where you work, if you work, what park you use, what doctor you use, what church you go to. If you're on the streets and roads and everything, sometimes you just walk outside your house and shake your head.
Potholes are almost like family members. They've been around for so long, 10 years, 20 years. Some of us know it, and those who live in the neighborhoods, fine, your potholes, your family members. But those who are not familiar with certain areas, well, we get surprised sometimes.
Absolutely, and that begins to cause problems like with your car bills.
That's right.
Your suspension, your axles.
That's right.
It breaks. I mean, so it has an impact on that kind of thing. It also has an impact on things like your driving, because you're trying to avoid something and you might miss something else.
That's right. And it's
and don't want that something else to be a person.
Oh, yes.
For sure. But, one of the things that happened yesterday was that, we had a revenue estimating conference before that city council meeting. And none of this went the way that I think anybody, including the incumbent mayor, the mayor-elect, the city council, budget watchers, general public, nobody, I think, wanted to see this go the way that it went. So I want to say that city council passed a $1.6 billion budget.
Yes.
And I did not talk to each individual council member, but I was there in the city council chambers. And several of them made a point of saying in so many words, this is not what I would want to do. I'm holding my nose as I cast this vote, because this has not been the type of budget process that we should have. And we have a number of folks who can take responsibility or point to others for responsibility for how we got into this mess. But, yesterday was the time for how do we get out of this mess. So we got a caller. Good morning, Councilman Oliver Thomas.
Well, good morning,
City
sir.
Council District E. You're on the line with Will Sutton. You got Minister Darrell Brown on with me today.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Couldn't have you guys talk about what happened yesterday without having somebody who was actually part of it. So in listening to the discussion, and then Will, if you remember, I took a point of personal privilege, the first person to say that the process was very unusual and that it didn't lead to the type of collaboration that I thought it would. And with all of the budgets that I have gone through, I had never seen it kind of lead up to that point from the revenue estimating conference to where it was alleged by the mayor that the information wasn't submitted timely, that they didn't have people to work on it, to many of the last-minute changes that were not explained before we got there. So, not that I want to pat myself on the back, but I think that was my opening statement.
Right, I was there, and you made that point, and others have continued to make the point that you made months ago about asking some pretty direct questions of the CAO. And so people have not forgotten, at least people who sit near you have not forgotten about that series of questions, because if the answers had come through at that point with more than the 1-2 words or phrases
Right.
at the time, it's not that we wouldn't have this problem, but we would have been able to deal with it in a different way.
Well, in many cases, experience matters and leadership matters. When I saw what was happening over a year ago, which is all of the council members referred basically to what Oliver Thomas said and asked when we could have dealt with the situation, or at least got in front of it, I can safely say, no, it wouldn't have been as bad as it is now, because steps could have been taken, whether it was some budget steps, some steps for cuts. How do you renegotiate some things? How do you put together teams in finance to go out and collect revenue that is owed to the city? Will, the one thing about being a historian is I remember when Joe Giarrusso and Jim Singleton worked with the administration to create a team of people to go out and collect money that was owed to the city to close the budget gap. Those are things that, those are things that could have been done early on. And that's why, man, I would hope with the next administration and the next council that the soap opera stuff is not more important than the day-to-day workings of the charter and the charter responsibilities to deliver services for people. A lot of people were mad at me because I wasn't jumping on the mayor or worried about who she slept with or worried about where she went, because I was focused on the work. That's how I was trained by Dorothy May and Jim Singleton and Joe Giarrusso and Johnny Jackson and many of the others who actually just focused on what are our charter responsibilities? How do we roll up our sleeves and work together, whether we like each other or not? And for several years, that didn't happen.
Yeah, unfortunately. But yesterday was a day by Home Rule Charter. It says City Council must approve a budget on December 1. And correct me if I'm wrong, that's what it says, December 1. It does not say by 10 a.m. It does not say by noon. It does not say by 11:58 p.m. So this could have stretched out to, go further into the afternoon. As it is, the council meeting went longer than I think it would have normally been scheduled for this kind of thing, with so many meetings in advance where things have been worked out. But the reality is,
look, we should have worked through the holidays if that's what it took. Again, as a historian, I remember the 10 o'clock meetings, the 10:30 meetings, being at City Hall till 1 in the morning, working on stuff, because sometimes that's what it takes. So you get in a room with folks, fight and fuss, and deliver the best product for our people. But look, man, kudos to everybody who at least worked hard to come up with something, the folk in the administration, the budget chairman. Let's just hope that, and I don't know if you remember the comments I made yesterday, which was similar to what I made a year ago, is that, we shouldn't be dealing with ghost money, and that, we should be as factual as possible. Now, when you talk about projected budgets, that's just what it is, because accounts receivables aren't always available the time of the budget. So that's why revenue estimating is important. So, and the other thing I said yesterday, Will, was that hopefully we hash this thing out, and so that you can find out, at least moving forward, so that this never happens again. And that's why I asked for and sent a letter that much of the press has tried to avoid. I sent a letter to Gilbert Montano saying, hey, man, you owe it to the public to come before the city. Because folk keep saying CAO. Well, I said his name, So, why did you answer my questions the way you did a year ago? Why wasn't there more notice to put us on alert? Why wasn't there more effort to say, especially because Romy Samuels, her emails, and some of the emails of budget analysts within the police department over a year ago, Will, those emails said, no, we do have something to worry about.
Right. There were conflicting realities, different versions of the truth. And you all are in the position of getting the reports and the emails and the information that you receive and having to go based on that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in the end, as there is a mayoral budget put together, it is the CAO who has that primary role, not the finance director, though the
Thank
finance.
And that's why I read I don't know if you read Black Social Media's commentary, the editorials that they wrote.
Mm-hmm.
They wrote, but man, that is absolutely newsworthy. Different people, different races are treated different ways, especially when you talk about mistakes. And how do you absolve one entity and then determine that you're going to solely make it because you have the power of the pen and you have the power of the media? You're solely going to make it a responsibility of another entity when the charter and the legal authority that governs the city says they both play a role. And that's a fact.
Yeah. Yep. Well, we now have this budget with, you made it clear that you were holding your nose because it stunk, but agreed to pass the budget, and I believe a number of your colleagues did the same thing. Not all of you may be in sync on what should have happened, but everybody agreed it should not have been the way that it ended yesterday.
Well, I said over a year ago what should have happened.
Right.
So I mean, I don't know why people are dealing with lollipop land. If the budget realities were real, what should have happened is that there should have been revenue estimating conferences to follow the fact that the projections from Super Bowl and from Taylor Swift and from special events that didn't meet what folk thought, or what it cost to deal with the terror attack, or what overtime, or what it cost us for Super Bowl and to support other events. And those things have happened in the past. So, we should have had more realistic conversations about what the budget actually was and is. And so when I asked and requested that at some point Mr. Montano owes it to the public, to come before the city council. And look, the one thing about this city council, man, look, they've done a good job in terms of accountability, right? But so where's the accountability and threatening and investigating and using the power? Well, here was an opportunity to use the power to tell the former CAO, help us figure out what went wrong or say what went wrong so that the next CAO or the next council won't make the same mistake. And I think that would be important.
I hear you, and I think it's very important. And now we have a budget passed by City Council. The mayor made it clear that she's still the mayor and that she wasn't for hearing the new revenue sources at the revenue estimating conference. But the city council didn't act on the measures that she proposed, but the measures that Mayor-elect proposed, and that you all agreed, at least for the moment, that these are the things that have to be done to move forward with the approval of a budget on December 1.
Well, I addressed that. Yeah, I mean, look, I addressed that too.
Right.
In the fact, why were not the administrative teams still functioning as you were in charge right now?
Right.
And I laid out an example. The CAO, the budget department, the analysts, members of finance, they shouldn't have just been meeting with the transition team. They should have been meeting with council members saying, this is why these are our options. And what they should have been doing is there should have been a comparison, Will, and that was what was frustrating to me. They should have been competing comparisons so we had the ability to vote on the one that was most realistic, which protected the citizens the most.
And you're saying that didn't happen. And
no,
why didn't that happen?
No, you said it didn't happen.
Right,
because
right.
when you
It
opened
didn't
up
happen.
the question, and that's what I don't understand.
Right.
And I also shared my frustration as someone that neither side had really set with, especially given the fact that I was the only one who put us on alert over a year ago with my questioning and what I had noticed in terms of some of the discrepancies in what the CAO was representing. Man, look. This city is too important for us to pick and choose who we want to be friends with, who we want to work with, who can help make a difference. New Orleans moving forward is only going to get better if there's an effort where everybody matters and everybody works together. We can't have sore winners, and we can't have losers who want to take their ball and go home. This city doesn't deserve that.
Amen to that. And I hope everybody can agree with that. We're going to have some differences of opinion about how to get there. But,
correct.
I mean, that needs to be the core of what we are pursuing. So I hope that the days and the weeks between now and January 12th go as well as they can go. Just because the budget is passed doesn't mean everything's fixed. We got, 5,000 city employees that need to be paid. So there's an agreement for that. And those people need to work, and they need to be paid. And there are other things, including bills, that need to be handled as well. And so that's not a matter of who's incumbent mayor or mayor-elect, in my opinion. That's a matter of doing what's right for the city of New Orleans. Well,
doing what's right should always be first, following the law and the Constitution and our charter in terms of what's the responsibility or role of government. That's the roadmap in terms of the process and how we ought to do it. And so I continue to mention the process. Now, the only reason why I was as clear and succinct as I was then and as I am now is because, look, people need to do like Jim Singleton used to do, take your feelings and use it like a handkerchief, right? Only pull it out if you have to blow your nose. There's work that has to be done. We have a mayor-elect. We have an administration that's there now. There's still work that needs to be done through the middle of January. Let's put the best effort to do it. And let's make sure when the next mayor takes office that we're at least supportive in a way that charter-related services and our tax dollars are done the right way. Look, man, I lost the mayor's race, but I'm not going to lose hope, and I'm not going to lose my desire to want to work with any and everybody that helps me take care of my family and my grandchildren here in the city. And I'm sick and tired of all these sore winners, people who, once they win an office, want to take it out on everybody who ran against them, everybody who didn't support them, everybody any and everybody that had a difference of opinion. That history of New Orleans needs to stop.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to have to go to break, OT.
All right, guys.
But before I let you go, I'd like to get your thoughts on the unfortunate shooting that happened, I believe, after the Buck Jumpers ended its second line. So it was not during the second line. It's based on the information that I have.
That's right.
But I mean, you're out there way more than I am at those.
Yes, I am.
So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
That had nothing to do with Buck Jumpers or the culture. It should not. It should not disparage the group. Look, I'm a past king of Buck Jumpers. I'm also a past king of Tremaine Sidewalk Steppers, 6th Ward, right? And as you know, we cut it up during 9 times. That's part of how I was raised. That violence and the people associated with the violence, and those people, they need to be dealt with. They need to be taken off our streets. But the other thing we need to do is we need to be mindful in terms of how do we secure these, especially given the fact that we've had some violent events. I was on a task force, looking at how we move forward with members of the culture. My time is going to end there. So let's not disparage the culture. Let's not place that on the back of the people who come out to have a good time, to celebrate our culture, to parade it. Let's put that on the violent criminals and people who are set on hurting us, whether there's no one in the street or whether there's thousands of people on the street. Let's get them off the street.
All right. I know you got work to do. You made it clear yesterday. You ain't stopping working. You still got this job, and you're going to be working on our behalf, whether it's District E or citywide. Thank you so much for calling in, OT.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for what you do.
I'll be in touch. Have a blessed day.
All
right, folks. We're going to break. When we come back, we'll be talking with Dr. Sam Asgharian, Chief Medical Officer of Gurn Health. We're going to be talking about colon cancer, very important topic that you need to know about. You think you know everything, I tell you what, every time I talk about colon cancer, listen to somebody, I hear something that I forgot or that I didn't know. So I hope people will pay attention here. You're listening to WVLK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Good morning and happy Tuesday. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News, and here's a look at today's headlines. Today, Mayor-elect Helena Moreno is set to announce key members of her administration, including her chief administrative officer. It's an important position, especially when it comes to matters concerning the budget. That announcement comes one day after council members approved next year's budget, which involved a fight with the outgoing administration. Ultimately, council members approved the budget, which they say will address a budget deficit of more than $200 million. Then it is a long-awaited day in court for clergy sex abuse survivors. Several survivors are expected to take the stand today in the Archdiocese bankruptcy trial, which continues today in federal court. The Archdiocese has agreed to pay a $230 million settlement to survivors. A judge could sign off on that agreement by Thursday. And we are nearing 1 year since the Bourbon Street terror attack, and now through mid-January, there is a memorial honoring the 14 people who lost their lives. It's called Second Line in the Sky and features photos of the victims as well as messages from their families. You can see it hanging over the first 3 blocks of Bourbon Street, starting at Canal. And that is a look at today's headlines. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News. Have a great day.
Tired of the impersonal, one-size-fits-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Interest rates and inflation are out of control. Is your credit card debt also out of control? It's time to resolve your debt and take back control for a lot less than what you owe. If you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt, then you need to call us right now. Debt Fix Pros can significantly reduce the amount you owe, and you could be debt-free faster than you think.
I knew we had to do something. Our debt was growing.
It was getting out of control, and we just didn't know what to do.
We saw an ad for Debt Fix Pros. We called, and they showed us how fast they could get us out of debt.
It really was amazing, and now we're back in control.
Call now, and we'll show you how easy it is to fix your debt. The call and consultation are free. Call Debt Fix Pros right now at 800-311-5977. That's 800-311-5977. 800-311-5977.
A message from the community scientist. Do you live or work in St. James, St. John, St. Charles, Ascension, Calcasieu, Baton Rouge, or St. Bernard Parish? You may be exposed to harmful chemicals like phthalates, BPA, and flame retardants found in everyday products but linked to serious health risks. That's why the Community Scientist, a program of Rise St. James, brings you clear, science-based facts that protect your health and our environment. Stay informed, stay empowered. Visit risestjames.org today.
You've got responsibilities, but that doesn't mean your dreams are on hold. At Southern University at New Orleans, our evening and weekend college is designed with your life in mind. Finish your degree, start a new one, on your time, your degree, your schedule. No excuses, just opportunity. Visit suno.edu and make your next move today.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. the kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think, maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
And welcome back to the Good Morning Show on WBOK, 12:30 a.m. It is 7:32 a.m. I am Will Sutton, and here with me today is Minister Darrell G. Brown. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me again.
Yeah.
And good morning to the WBOK family. Thank you.
Yeah, we are having a good show today, and Nairn's behind the glass, keeping us on air and in tune and all. And what a good call and conversation with New Orleans City Councilman Oliver Thomas about what happened yesterday. We were just talking about that, and of course he was there, as was I, except I didn't have a vote. So, and I was not on the dais, and he was. So he gave us some good insight about what had happened. And you know, sometimes people say what had happened was.
Yes.
Well, in this case, it was what hadn't happened was.
Wow. That's right.
But that's where we ended up yesterday, and the budget is past $1.6 million. There's more to look at. Just because the budget is passed doesn't mean we shouldn't look at the budget as approved and what's in it. And so I and other folks will be doing that, of course. But right now, we're going to talk about colorectal cancer, colon cancer, with Dr. Sam Asgharian. So, Dr. Sam, good morning. You're on with Will Sutton and Darrell Brown. How are you, sir?
Good morning, sir.
Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Hello?
I can hear you now.
Perfect.
Hi
Gotcha.
there.
Good
Good
morning.
You're on with Will Sutton and Darrell Brown. How are you, sir?
Good morning. Doing well. Thank you. Thank you for
How
having me.
close am I coming with if I say Dr. Sam Asgharian?
That you said it perfectly. No changes to what you said.
Wonderful. Now, I have friends of various backgrounds, and I don't want to offend you or anything, but I have some friends from across the world, and I am going to guess that this is a Iranian or Persian related name. Is that right?
It is. Yeah, you are very good. Yeah, most people don't get that off a quick guess. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Cool. Just wanted to make sure. I mean, you know, my name is Sutton, fairly simple, but it does have a little history and all, and different branches of the Sutton family, and probably not going to find too many Suttons in Peru or in Persia or Iran or South Africa unless they move there. You know, so. But we're talking about a serious subject, and you are deep and steeped in knowledge about the screening of colon cancer, colorectal cancer. And I'm very happy to have you with our WBOK family of listeners today. You are Vice President of Clinical Development with Guardant Health. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. So give us a little background about the cancer, how this comes to be, and, you know, kind of a little overview of what people think they know versus perhaps what we should know.
Absolutely, and I appreciate the opportunity. Right, it's what you said. Right, that you learn so much more about this disease, and there's so much to know about it. So it's an upside down disease from a medical standpoint. We call it upside down because it's the second leading cause of cancer deaths across the country. That includes in Louisiana. It across the board. When people get cancer and they die from it, colorectal cancer is the number 2 leading cause. It's upside down because the survival odds when you catch it early are 91%. So if I told you, hey, there's a certain cancer that if you catch it early, there's a greater than 90% chance that you'll survive, you wouldn't expect it to be the second leading cause of death in a country as advanced as ours. But unfortunately, it spreads quickly, right? So your colon, your gut have a lot of blood supply. And once it's caught late, those survival odds drop all the way down to 13%, which is not a percentage that physicians ever want to tell their patient, right? And so it gives you an idea of why we want people to get screened for it, why we keep telling people, even though they hate hearing it from their docs, please get this colonoscopy that I'm asking you to get. Please take a certain test that'll help me understand if you do have this cancer. Because as a physician, you always want to catch this early. As a patient, you always want to hear your physician tell you that you caught it early.
Yeah, so, we're based in New Orleans in Louisiana, and based on the information that we have, this type of cancer is second leading cause of cancer-related deaths in this state. How does that compare with other states that you're familiar with?
So, and I love being on your show because my medical degree actually comes from Tulane. So I spent all that time down in New Orleans. Yeah, and so
did you have a good time?
This is a treat for me. I love that city. I had a great time. I can't tell you enough what a great school that is, what a great community you all have.
Wonderful.
And the learning that I got from it. So to your point, we want people across the country, 80% of people that are eligible to get screened. So if you're 45 or older, that's the age where your doc starts telling you, please go get screened for colon cancer. And we want 80% of people that are eligible to get screened. And New Orleans is at 60%. So, Greater Louisiana as a whole is at 60%. The other way to think about it is that 40% of people that should be getting screened are not getting screened. And that number needs to come down. We really want people to get screened, to get checked for this disease. I'll give you another kind of sobering fact that I always tell people, which gives you another idea about the disease. Every year, about 50,000 people die for colorectal cancer. And in Louisiana, it's about 1,000 people, right? So about 1,000 of that 50,000 come from Louisiana. And 75% of those, so 3 out of every 4 of those people, is either not screened or late to get screened when they perish from this disease.
Ooh.
And so that tells you that the importance really of getting screened. And so, the numbers are not bad at all in Louisiana, but they absolutely could be better.
But Dr. Asgharian, I have a question. Is how will this new screening replace colonoscopies?
No, and I'm glad you asked that. So what we did at Guardant Health is we built this new test called Shield. And what we saw, even before that, was not that people needed to replace colonoscopy. Again, 60% of people in Louisiana are getting screened, which is great. And if they're using colonoscopy, that's fantastic. It's a great test because the special aspect of colonoscopy is not only is it detecting cancer, right, because it's there in the colon, but you can also treat it while you're there. You can remove polyps. You can take out suspicious masses. That's really unique. But what we saw was that patients have anxiety when it comes to getting a colonoscopy. They feel good, right? Every one of us knows this. Every one of us has even told the doc that or told a family member, I feel good. I feel fine. I don't need to take time off work. I don't need to go get anesthesia. I don't need them to do what with that tube. So I'm not going to get it. And so we said, okay, what are those people going to get? And the answer was a simple test, a convenient test that still performs well. And so the Shield blood test is that test, right? It's just a normal blood test. You don't have to fast for it. If your doc is already ordering blood, you just get a couple more tubes, and that comes to us, and we give you a result. But to answer your question directly, if that test is positive, if you take a blood test for colorectal cancer and it's positive, you still need a colonoscopy, but you're more likely to get it. You have less anxiety about that colonoscopy because now you think, okay, well, hold on, something might actually be wrong. Let me go ahead and take time off work. Let me go ahead and get that anesthesia. Let me go ahead and get that test, even though it's more invasive than I wish it was, because I want them to find it if it's there and I want them to treat it.
Do you find more people are taking your advantage of the Shield testing?
Yes, right. So that's the greatest part about it. The test was FDA approved last year, July of 2024. We launched it in a slow, really kind of let's see what's happening, let's see how doctors like it, let's see how it performs in August of 2024. And it's doing really well. People are using this test. Doctors are telling us this is great. I'm using it for patients that have never been screened before. It's phenomenal. I'm using it for patients that told us that they would never get screened because they didn't like the idea of a colonoscopy. And so we're seeing that test being ordered more, especially in areas like New Orleans where you have great primary care and you have great specialty care. So those primary care providers are working with those gastroenterologists, those specialty docs, and they're getting this test ordered, and we're starting to see more people get screened. So at least for the early stages, about a year in, it's been really, really, really exciting to see people use this test.
So how much does this cost?
You know I'm not allowed to talk about cost. I'm a doctor. What do I know about cost?
Right.
No, so the good news, the best news of all is when I got the FDA approval, the government agency in charge of Medicare immediately approved this for all the seniors 65 and older with little to no copay. So if you're a Medicare beneficiary, you have even less reason not to get screened because now you've got a blood test option and you're not going to pay anything out of pocket for it. Now, the reason I laugh too is, this insurance companies, they're a little bit late to get coverage for things. They don't like spending money. They're very skeptical. So we're working with all the other insurance companies to get all of those people under 65 covered for this test. The good news is the Community Care Network for Veteran Affairs, and I know there's that great veteran community and the hospital there in New Orleans, has covered this for all people who have VA benefits. So again, if you're a veteran, you're below 65, again, this test is available to you with little to no copay. Everyone else, we work closely with them in their insurance company before we run the test to let them know how much they should expect to pay out of pocket and whether or not they still want this test.
Okay, so for those of us who have, I'll say, experienced a colonoscopy or two or three.
I've had three.
And those who haven't yet, look it up. But kind of explain how this guard works. What is the process? So you say, I heard about it on WBOK. I talked to my primary care doc. I think I want to do this. What are they asking to be done?
Yeah, that's a great question. So if you have ever had a blood test, if your doc has said, hey, thanks for coming in and see me, I'm going to write you an order, you're going to go wherever your doc sends you to go get your blood drawn, it is that same process. So when you ask for this test, it's no different than when you were getting your cholesterol checked, you were getting your blood sugars checked, you were getting your kidney or liver enzymes checked, and you had to go somewhere and they wrapped that thing around your arm, they stuck a needle in your vein, a normal-sized needle, and they put those tubes in and they were filling those tubes with blood. We have a kit for the Shield test. They fill our tubes with your blood. They put the tubes in a box. They send it to our laboratory in California. Our laboratory processes that result. It is looking for signals of cancer in your blood. If we don't find those signals, we send you a negative result back to you and your physician. If we do find those signals, we send you a positive result back to you and your physician. Other good news about this, if you're negative for this test, you don't have to get tested again for colorectal cancer screening for another 3 years, as long as you don't have any signs or symptoms, right? So it's another thing to check off your list of things to worry about. And then 3 years later, you start to have that conversation with your doc again, to both of your points, right? If you've had multiple colonoscopies, you've had that conversation when it was time up to do it again. Same thing happens here, except that the time changes, or the difference is 3 years. And 3 years later, you can pick whichever option you want to choose then. You don't have to keep getting the blood test either.
Well, 3 years is certainly a different time schedule from 5 to 7. So, oh, boy.
And it is. So that's the other, slight difference. And again, the insurance companies, so for Medicare and Veterans Affairs, they do cover this every 3 years.
Yeah, that's good. Okay.
But Dr. Asgharian, why are people not screening for colon cancer when they're supposed to?
It's a great question, and it's something that we keep trying to find out more about. The number one response, we did a survey, we did about 1,000 patients, 100 doctors. And the overwhelming response we got when we asked that question was anxiety. There's an anxiety, and it's an anxiety across the board, right? So I don't want to take time off work and do this invasive procedure. I feel fine. It's an anxiety about cancer. It's still the big C, right? It's the number one leading cause of death overall in the Black community in Louisiana. People fear this disease, and more importantly, they fear the diagnosis. I just don't want to hear that I've got cancer. And so if I'm okay and I feel all right, why would I get screened for this? And then we got to be, real about it. The colonoscopy is an invasive procedure. It's one of the most invasive screening procedures. That means people that have average risk are taking on an invasive procedure. People don't like that. There are some stool-based test options. Those have like an ick factor behind them. People are like, okay, I understand you're going to send a box to my house, but I really don't like the idea of what you're asking me to do. I'm just not going to do it. And a lot of those boxes just sit at people's homes, and people don't do anything with them, and they expire. And so we're hoping that this reduces anxiety, right? You take that anxiety factor off. People are accustomed to blood tests. They 90% of the time, this is one of my other favorite statistics, when a physician orders a blood test, the patients get that blood test done. That is a great outcome. Only about 40 to 60% of the time when a physician orders a colonoscopy do patients actually go get it done. And so that gives you kind of a little bit of an idea of how we're hoping this breaks through some of those barriers, why people aren't getting screened for colorectal cancer.
Dr. Asgharian, one more question. How long does it take to get the results back for those who take it?
Yeah, so we're a year into this. We are super happy with the amount of tests being ordered, but we're working to get that timeline down. It takes us about 2 weeks maximum. So from the time you get your blood drawn to when the tubes come to us and the results come back, you should anticipate about 2 weeks. We tell doctors that all the time. And then we're hoping to get that number down. So sometimes it's as little as 1 week. And in the future, when we build out our laboratory and we get this process kind of really super maximized, hopefully even less than that. So it's not weeks that I'm telling you, it's about days. But right now, about 2 weeks maximum.
All right. One more question for you also. What are some of the signs of colorectal cancer?
So this is one that people love pretending like they're okay, and it's unfortunate. And I really appreciate you asking that, because it's one of those that people really got to get checked if they're showing any of these signs. So one of the number one signs is blood in the stool, right? So, hey, doc, I had a bowel movement, but it looked a little red, it looked a little bloody, it looked a little darker, way darker than I ever thought it would. So if there's blood in the stool, something's going on. If there's just upset kind of stomach, and again, this is why people kind of ignore it. They're like, oh, I'm stressed out. Maybe it's an ulcer. I go to the bathroom a little bit more often than I'd like. But that's okay. And it's not, right? It could be a sign of that. And then the one that we always watch out for as physicians, that you'll laugh because patients think it's a good thing, is unexplained weight loss. And they're like, yeah, doc, by the way, I lost about 5 to 10 pounds. I'm not even trying to lose weight. But yeah, I feel, about 5 or 10 pounds lighter than I did. When I weighed myself, I was 5, 10 pounds. I didn't do anything. I'm still eating what I normally eat, exercising the same amount. If you have that, and the combination of the upset stomach and potentially blood in the stool, that's a big sign for us that it's time to get checked out. It's time to get screened. It's time to see if there's anything going on. And it could definitely just be an ulcer. It could just definitely be an upset stomach or something going on. But those are the signs of colorectal cancer. And those are things that the doc is paying special attention to make sure that you get screened.
Great.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Asgharian. Vice President of Clinical Development at Garden Garden Health. And once again, some good information about colon cancer, avoiding it. I mean, that's a huge difference with I'm just going to pick up on 2 percentages. If I get them wrong, you correct me. A 91% chance of making everything okay versus when you catch it early versus 13% if you don't. That's huge. That is huge. And very good reason to pay attention to the advice, counsel, information that you've shared with our WBOK family of listeners today. So thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Who dat? Appreciate you guys.
All right.
All right.
All right. Have a blessed day. All right, folks, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we'll share more of the news and information that we think you should know, might want to know, definitely want to know. And there's a lot of it. So we're going to be going to break in a moment. You're hearing our voices. I'm Will Sutton, and this is Darrell G. Brown. We've been on the phone with Dr. Sam Asgharian talking about colon cancer. Good conversation, but, we're going to move on to some other things. This is WBOK, 1230 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about.
All day long.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
This is The Law in Your Legacy. I'm attorney Pete Hamilton.
I'm attorney Ryan Hamilton. Comparing the cost of wills, successions, and trusts.
A will might only be a few $100s, but your family could end up paying more in legal fees.
Trust costs more upfront, but saves time, stress, and potentially thousands.
Think of it as paying a little now to avoid a big bill later. Smart planning means big savings for your family. This is not legal advice. That's just a tip brought to you by Liberty Bank and Trust. For more information, go to libertybank.net or contact us at 504-915-5016.
LifeCare provides valuable whole life insurance to cover final expenses such as medical bills, burial costs, and unpaid debt. A final expense insurance policy is fast, easy, affordable life insurance that's available to anyone between the ages of 50 and 80. No medical exams, no lengthy questionnaires, and no waiting period. The application process is quick and easy. You can even apply without having to undergo a medical examination. Just answer a few questions and we'll do the rest. With the average funeral cost skyrocketing to $11,000 and Social Security only paying $255, you need simple, affordable peace of mind for you and your whole family. Don't leave behind unpaid expenses that, if left unattended, will burden your family tremendously. Benefits include a guaranteed premium that will never increase, a guaranteed cash value, and a guaranteed death benefit that can never decrease. To find out how you can get final expense insurance with a guaranteed lifetime rate lock, call LifeCare at 800-571-9955. That's 800-571-9955. 800-571-9955.
Transform your bathroom with the beautiful quality of Bath Planet. As a trusted leader in bathroom renovation, Bath Planet has earned the Good Housekeeping Seal, a symbol of quality and consumer confidence for over 100 years. Get half off installation or 18 months with no interest and no payments. Whether it's tub replacement, a shower replacement, or a tub-to-shower conversion, Bath Planet makes your custom bath fast, easy, and affordable. Here's how it works. 1. Call to schedule your free, no-obligation consultation. 2. Our design experts come to you with real samples to customize your dream bath. 3. Our certified installers complete the transformation in as little as 1 day. And right now, for a limited time, you can upgrade your bathroom for 50% off installation or choose 18 months with no interest and no payments. But you need to call now. This special offer is only available by calling 800-981-8177. That's 800-981-8177. Call 800-981-8177 right now before the offer ends.
The Historic New Orleans Collection presents a new exhibition open through June 7th, 2026. The Trail They Blazed. Built collaboratively with people who participated in the local civil rights movement, The Trail They Blazed presents stories of social and racial justice straight from the people who lived them. Listen to leaders tell their stories of resistance and persistence in their own voices, recorded by the historic New Orleans Collection. Plan your visit to 520 Royal Street in the French Quarter and reserve your free tickets at hnoc.org today.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show right here on WBOK, 1230 a.m. We appreciate you listening on AM radio, on the internet, from wherever in the world you are. And as always, we appreciate our Facebook listeners and watchers. Hey, y'all. How you doing? Good morning. And we appreciate you wherever you are. We appreciate it. You can tune in anywhere, anytime, elsewhere, and we appreciate you spending some time with us. It is 7:58 a.m., folks. You got to be there at 8 o'clock. I hope it's on the other side of your bed. You got your laptop fired up, phone ready, got your favorite morning beverage, and you're checking in with the boss to make sure that they know that you're on the scene and raring to go. And don't forget, school zone speed limits are in effect until 9. So please, 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 whatever you do, watch out for those babies. So, one of the things we like to do is make sure that you know about some things as we find out about them. So we got some breaking news here. There was a shooting at the intersection of New Orleans Street and Pleasure Street. That's in the 3rd District this morning. And looks like a 15-year-old juvenile boy suffered a gunshot wound, was transported to the hospital by New Orleans EMS. The kid seems to be in stable condition, but there's no more information available at this time. As always, the New Orleans Police Department wants to hear from you. If you know something about this morning's shooting incident near New Orleans Street and Pleasure Street, and that number for the 3rd District is 504-658-6030, 504-658-6030. And, of course, as always, you can call Crime Stoppers of Greater New Orleans, 504-822-1111. 504-822-1111. So make sure you help out if you can with that. We have more news and information coming. We're right up against 8 o'clock, so it's already time to take another break. And we're going to go ahead and do that because we don't want to get in trouble with the FCC. And when we come back, we'll have more news and information. And don't forget that we're going to be hearing from Mark Barnes of the United Negro College Fund. That is an umbrella organization of HBCUs, and there are others, the Thurgood Marshall Fund. But, Mark is going to be able to give us some insights about all these millions of dollars that Mackenzie Scott has been donating to HBCUs, more than $700 to $750 million, unrestricted funds. So imagine somebody just gave you $100,000 and said, you can spend it however you want.
Oh, I'd be so grateful.
Oh yeah, that'd be quite a blessing, wouldn't it? I don't think I'm on Mackenzie Scott's list though.
Let me check mine too.
Okay,
if my name's on there.
All right, folks. The talk line is 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. We'd love to hear from you. This is Will Sutton and Darryl Brown at WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
WBOK New Orleans, home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump says migration from all third world countries is paused permanently until the U.S. immigration system recovers. This follows the fatal shooting of a National Guard member by an Afghan national who Attorney General Pam Bondi says should have never been allowed into the country.
They did very little, if minimal, vetting on all of these people.
Trump vows to remove non-citizens who aren't net assets. Jaquan Stembridge, the youngest assistant secretary in Georgia GOP history, has resigned after being caught in a child sex predator sting in Athens. Stembridge, who chairs Georgia Teen Republicans, allegedly tried to meet an underage boy. No arrests have been made, and the party will fill his vacant post. And boxing stars Shadeja Green and Clarissa Shields are trading jabs online. Green accuses Shields of lying in a video montage, while Shields dismisses the feud as hype and points to her record. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Let's take a moment to celebrate great things happening inside our schools. NOLA Public Schools achieved a B District Performance Letter Grade. Orleans now exceeds its pre-COVID district performance for all students by more than 8 points. For the second year in a row, Black students from New Orleans outperformed the state average in all peer districts. For all other subgroups, economic disadvantaged students, multilingual learners, and students with disabilities, we also saw growth. Let's keep up the amazing work.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. For those of you all who have been listening for a few minutes or for the last hour or so, you're on with Will Sutton and Darryl G. Brown. We're happy to be with each other.
Yes, sir.
And we're happy to be with you all, our WBOK family of listeners as well. So a couple of good conversations already with City Councilman Oliver Thomas about the unanimous passage of the $1.6 billion budget, but nobody who cast the vote was happy about how they got there.
Wow.
But that part is done, and we're looking at more details of the budget to see where there are cuts. There still will be furloughs for city workers. The mayor-elect, Helena Moreno, said that she will be taking a furlough day along with the city workers. She said that getting the city off of furloughs will be her top priority as she starts her administration on January 12th. And she yesterday at the city council meeting asked for a meeting on January 12th, the inauguration day, so that the Revenue Estimating Conference can officially provide the estimates that City Council needs for considering and now passing the city budget of $1.6 billion. And that's because incumbent Mayor LaToya Cantrell refused to allow the budget director, the budget chair, Joe Giarrusso, to present his information and about where these estimates would come from. because she says she didn't get the appropriate responses, didn't have enough time to review it. Finance director said they just got the information before the meeting yesterday morning, and the mayor-elect said, well, we were trying to be in touch with you. We even suggested meetings via Zoom or whatever kind of conference, called teleconference, on Friday, and you didn't participate. The mayor-elect and city council president said the incumbent mayor asked people told people they didn't need to work through the weekend on the budget.
Wow.
Now, if that's true, that's sad.
It sure is.
Because if you are a public servant with a situation like this, I'm sorry, this is what you signed up for. And when you need to put in some extra duty, some extra time to do the job you're hired for, to get things right, to get things done, then that's necessary. Now, if that's not true, I'd like the mayor or somebody on the mayor's behalf to say that's not what she said, that's not what she meant, that perhaps she said, you don't have to work. Well, okay, is that what you said? Or did you say, don't work?
Well, we welcome you to give us a call this morning. Someone from the mayor's office to confirm or deny those claims.
And we'd love to hear from you all in our WBOK family of listeners. The WBOK 1230 AM talk line is 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. One of the things that happened during the city council meeting yesterday was there was a good crowd considering it's a budget focused meeting, and there were advocates of various kinds for housing and nursing and pregnant moms and Easter seals, and they were quite concerned about the cuts, affecting programs that they are part of, having to make phone calls and send messages to people to let them know that the program that they've been participating in is ending, being shut down or temporarily paused. But as some city council members pointed out, these are some of the tough decisions that they had to make to make sure that the budget is a balanced budget per the city charter. And I hated to hear yesterday that, this one woman was talking about calling pregnant moms and letting them know that they were no longer going to have the money to fund the program that they've been eligible for, accepted for, and were already participating in, that it's stopping. That was, wow. I can't imagine being in that position.
Yes.
Because as much as you want, you could say, it's not my fault. It's, city council. It's not my fault. It's the mayor. It's not my fault. Somebody mismanaged the money. It's not my fault. But you're the one delivering the news. And that's not a great position to be in. And imagine the pregnant mom receiving that news today or tomorrow.
I hope it is a temporary reprieve where things will get back on track maybe shortly after the new year and with a new administration.
Well, it's not going to be too short, I have to say, because with the type of deficit that we're in, the only thing that's going to get us out more quickly is to have a windfall of revenue.
Yes.
A windfall of revenue. Even if somebody were to announce today a new business bringing 250 jobs, it would be bringing, like in the future, not starting tomorrow. And the city is not in the business of buying lottery tickets. So, that's not likely. So there are other pots of money. And some of that was discussed yesterday at City Council as well. Well, it's 8:11 a.m. You got just 4 minutes if you need to be somewhere at 8:15. You got a little bit more time if you need to be there for 8:30. And, of course, please, please, please be careful. Our babies out there going to school, walking to school, getting on buses, getting off buses, walking one place or another. And I know you're the careful driver, but watch out for the crazy ones. And watch out for those assistant principals who have transportation duty. All right, it just turned to 8:12. We're taking a quick break, and we'll be back. WBOK, 12:30 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about
all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Good morning and happy Tuesday. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News, and here's a look at today's headlines. Today, Mayor-elect Helena Moreno is set to announce key members of her administration, including her chief administrative officer. It's an important position, especially when it comes to matters concerning the budget. That announcement comes one day after council members approved next year's budget, which involved a fight with the outgoing administration. Ultimately, council members approved the budget, which they say will address a budget deficit of more than $200 million. Then it is a long-awaited day in court for clergy sex abuse survivors. Several survivors are expected to take the stand today in the Archdiocese bankruptcy trial, which continues today in federal court. The Archdiocese has agreed to pay a $230 million settlement to survivors. A judge could sign off on that agreement by Thursday. And we are nearing 1 year since the Bourbon Street terror attack, and now through mid-January, there is a memorial honoring the 14 people who lost their lives. It's called Second Line in the Sky and features photos of the victims as well as messages from their families. You can see it hanging over the first 3 blocks of Bourbon Street, starting at Canal. And that is a look at today's headlines. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News.
My name is Armand Gillespie.
And this is Philip Thomas.
And we are the Bald Online Podcast, where we cover all the major sports topics. But today, we come to you all to talk about a more serious topic.
Suicide prevention. A little less than a week ago, a young, talented football player named Marshawn Kneeland took his life after scoring his first NFL touchdown.
We stress the importance of life and how precious every person is. We on Bald Online Podcast hope if you're ever going through anything, to please reach out to a loved one.
And if you think you have no one to turn to, please call 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Remember, you are loved and cherished in every possible way.
Peace and always love from us. And remember, ball don't lie. Peace.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton, and you're Daryl G. Brown, aren't you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How long you been Daryl G. Brown? A few days, few weeks, few months, years?
65 years.
All right. You feeling good, Daryl G. Brown?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes.
How was your morning getting here?
My morning was kind of hectic. Matter of fact, I spent about 20 minutes on top of the high rise. That was a 4-car accident.
20 minutes.
20 minutes, yes. And I was glad I was able to still get here on time. But
thank goodness you're a praying man.
Yes.
20-minute delay, 4-car accident, and you were not one of the 4 cars.
That's right. That's right. That's one thing I prayed for, grace, traveling grace this morning, and every morning. But yes, indeed. And I'm glad I wasn't one of the victims in the accident.
Yeah, and I hope everybody's okay out of that. But another reminder that we need to be careful when we're driving out there.
Oh, yes.
Because with a 4-car accident, 4-vehicle accident, I'm sure all 4 were not at fault. 1 or 2 might have been at fault, but all 4, so that means somebody else was inconvenienced this morning at a minimum, and perhaps injured, and sure hope no one lost their lives.
Oh, yes.
So, you know, I mean, this is WBLK. We have a focus on New Orleans, but we know that some of you all live in other parishes as well. So I'm continuing to try to remind myself that there are some Black folks who live elsewhere. So wanted to let you know that according to my one of my colleagues, that St. Tammany Parish Public Schools have earned the highest ACT score among all districts in Louisiana.
Awesome.
The highest ACT score among all districts, achieving a composite score of 20.4. And that is above the state and the national averages. And it's the second year that they've done it. So kudos for St. Tammany Parish Public Schools out there. Any of you all listeners who are teachers out there, administrators, parents, or students, we'd love, not students. No, you stay in class. But any of you all affiliated with that, I mean, what drives that type of success? I mean, that is wonderful, and the growth is apparently in all areas. And the superintendent said that our students work hard with the support of our dedicated teachers and engaged community. They graduate ready for success. By the time they walk across the stage, we see tremendous growth. St. Tammany Parish Public Schools is a leader in education, and I am incredibly proud of the outstanding accomplishments happening across our district, as he should be.
That's great. Great news for St. Tammany Parish, and great news for Louisiana.
Yeah.
Education especially.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we want to see that kind of success across our region and across our state. We certainly would love to see that in New Orleans as well. In other school-related news, a lot of you all are familiar with the Willow School, and its uptown campus.
Yes.
And there's a blighted building, the Sophie Gumbo House. I know the building. I remember seeing the building, but I didn't know it had a name. I have to say, I didn't know it had a name. But my colleague, Joni Hess, has reported that New Orleans officials just last month approved a Willow School proposal to redevelop this building into a learning and training facility for special education.
Great.
For special education.
Yes.
So it'd be a centralized hub that would offer education and resources for those with developmental, mental, and physical disabilities, as well as clinical training for professionals. So those are some of the proposal pieces, and that's great news. Especially, it can be tough when your kid has learning disabilities of whatever kind, and autism is one of those where the range is so wide. Just to say that an adult or a child has autism doesn't let you know exactly what they're experiencing and going through. But this on-site clinic is intending to offer autism therapy services and psychoeducational assessments and counseling, along with other health services. And what that says to me is that we're recognizing that a kid's total health is important for their ability to learn.
That's right.
I mean, if you don't know what your strengths are, what your disabilities are, what your areas of development needs are, then how are you going to learn if you, your parents, your guardian your teachers don't know where you're starting, how are they going to help you grow and get educated?
And that's important for educators too, to know how to reach that population as well. So that's exciting news.
Yeah. So that's I am glad to hear about that as well. And here's some news that, when you have a headline that says Louisiana's early childhood educators are expected to live in poverty, that doesn't feel good.
No, it doesn't. And
that just doesn't feel good. And so this is a story by my colleague Elise Comosino, and she spent time talking with a woman named Rochelle Wilcox, who's got 30 years in early childhood education, and that's her summary assessment of where we are with the cost of daycare and looking at the impact of daycare and who works in the daycare centers in that early child care period. But a lot of these child care centers face financial crises. So they can go out of business, and according to a recent survey, 8 in 10 say they don't know if they can keep their doors open for the next 6 months.
Wow.
So that makes it hard on a number of areas, including parents' reliability on a place to have their child, and also on the school with what they're able to pay. So
that's dire.
It's
is a dire report and projection as well.
Yep. So that's not good. And we also have a report. I know not everybody knows all the people at all these different schools, but there's a guy named William Jenkins who is a veterinary professor at LSU. He died at 88. The reason I'm bringing up his name because there aren't many people who get to serve as presidents or chancellors of universities. And this guy, William Jenkins, served as LSU president twice. Now, there are interim roles, but when you're called upon to get your university through some stuff and you have enough experience and respect for them to tap you, and to tap you for being a leader of the Baton Rouge campus and a leader of the system, I think that says a lot about you. So I just wanted to bring up his name and wish his family blessings as they grieve, as well as the parts of the LSU community that may have gotten to know him.
I want to say thank you for bringing up that story. I knew Dr. Jenkins when I was a student at LSU for about 3 years.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And wow, it's just hitting me now.
Did you know he had passed?
No, sir. No.
Wow.
I glanced over the story, but Jenkins did not hit me until just hearing you reading that.
Yeah.
And I knew him.
Right.
I knew him. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Well, he arrived at LSU in 1988 to serve as dean of the School of Veterinary Medicine after being at Texas A&M for a number of years, and nationally recognized speaker, much short after nationally and internationally, native of South Africa, but grew to love and Baton Rouge and LSU and this state. So he has passed on. So sorry for your loss, Minister Brown.
Oh, yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
Wonderful. All right, well, we're going to go to break, and when we come back, we'll be hearing from Mark Barnes from UNCF talking about the Mackenzie Scott donations to HBCUs. That's what we've got playing. Talk line is 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422. This is WBOK, 1230 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about.
All day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
After some much-needed rain, things are drying out for us for Tuesday. Mostly cloudy skies and breezy and a little on the cooler side. Highs today, 52 to 59 degrees. Overnight, though, we could see a light freeze for the North Shore. Temperatures dropping just below freezing. On the South Shore, expect temperatures into the 30s and the 40s. There's a small craft advisory in effect, so if you're out in the water for today, expect breezy conditions. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
Attention, WBOK listeners. Are you a fan of the station and want to show your support and style? Well, we've got some exciting news for you. Introducing the official WBOK merchandise, the perfect way to wear your love for the station. Whether you're a longtime listener or a new fan, we've got something for everyone. Head to WBOK1230.com now and grab your WBOK gear before it's gone. When you buy WBOK merch, you're not just getting quality items, you're supporting the station you love.
Tired of the impersonal, one-size-fit-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Every year, the lights return to City Park, and as if by magic, so do we. Families reunited, kids wide-eyed, old memories meeting new ones. Celebration in the Oaks is more than a holiday tradition. It is where New Orleans comes together to shine. Don't miss the magic. Make Celebration in the Oaks your holiday tradition and help City Park shine for generations to come. Go to celebrationintheoaks.com and grab your tickets before they're gone.
A careless driver can change your life in an instant. Do you know what to do or who to call? If you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident and do not have an attorney, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free consultation. We can answer all of your questions and estimate the potential value of your case. Call Auto Accident Help Desk and connect with an expert personal injury attorney.
Call 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524.
Don't worry how to handle your medical bills, lost wages, and pain. We will get you the money you deserve.
They got me way more than the insurance company offered.
The consultation is free, and you do not pay any legal fees unless we win or settle your case. Make the smart call. If you've been injured in an auto accident, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free legal consultation.
Call 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524.
A message from the community scientist. Do you live or work in St. James, St. John, St. Charles, Ascension, Calcasieu, Baton Rouge, or St. Bernard Parish? You may be exposed to harmful chemicals like phthalates, BPA, and flame retardants found in everyday products but linked to serious health risks. That's why the Community Scientist, a program of Rise St. James, brings you clear, science-based facts that protect your health and our environment. Stay informed, stay empowered. Visit risestjames.org today.
You've got responsibilities, but that doesn't mean your dreams are on hold. At Southern University at New Orleans, our evening and weekend college is designed with your life in mind. Finish your degree, start a new one, on your time, your degree, your schedule, no excuses, just opportunity. Visit suno.edu and make your next move today.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. The kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think. Maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show right here on WBOK 1230 AM. I'm Will Sutton. With me today is Minister Darrell G. Brown, and we just found out that one of his LSU professors passed away. I was just sharing it as news, and turns out that Darrell had this guy as a prof. Man.
At least in administration.
Yeah,
right,
right,
yes, sir.
right,
yes, sir.
right. Yeah. So,
man.
Yeah, but good guy. You know, just again shows the impact of good leaders at in higher education. This guy was served as a LSU president multiple times because things happen and you called upon, and somebody's got to step up and help. Stewardship while we figure things out.
Yes.
You know, so he died at 88, and thank him for his services to LSU and this state. Right now, we're going to jump into conversation with my friend, Dr. Mark Barnes, who is Senior Vice President, Principal Gifts and Strategic Impact Investment Fundraising at UNCF, that's right. United Negro College Fund. Did I get all the words?
You got it all right.
All
yes,
right,
sir.
I looked it up and it's like, I hope this one is right.
You got
because,
it right.
Man, there's all kind of references to you.
There's a lot.
You know?
Yes, there's a lot in that. There's a lot in that. You know, fundraisers have very complicated titles, but, but it's fundraising.
Right. All things money and fundraising. Sort of, kind of. All right. Well, Dr. Mark Barnes is a proud alum of Xavier University.
That's correct.
Worked for quite a number of years at Dillard University.
That's right.
Rose to top ranks as vice president and in charge of development and philanthropy at Dillard University.
Yes.
Well known throughout the HBCU community and the greater philanthropy community, not just HBCUs. National reputation. I want you to know this New Orleans product. Has that kind of achievement. And, of course,
awesome.
I have to mention, and, of course, graduate of 2600.
You know, I thought you were going to forget. That's right.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about Mackenzie Scott's millions of dollars that she has given just this season. And in Louisiana, $38 million to Xavier University, a private HBCU, the only Catholic private HBCU in the nation, and $19 million to Dillard University, your former employer.
That's right.
The place that gave y'all me, because that's where my mama and daddy met. And $19 million to a private, smaller university, Dillard University, and then millions and millions of dollars to other HBCUs. Howard, $80 million. Other HBCUs, $63 million. Other HBCUs, $38 million. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, she's up
even
to,
in the world of philanthropy.
Yeah, she's up to about close to $900 million just this year.
Wow.
Just this year to HBCUs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. That's amazing. So give us some context with millions of dollars being donated to a single HBCU. What's the impact when we hear things like the largest single donation to this particular university in its entire history? Sounds huge. I feel really good about it. Give us some context.
So the blessing is that it is, for almost all of these institutions, the biggest gift they've ever received. But it's also the curse at the same time, because these institutions are just now getting to this type of funding when other institutions have been getting this kind of funding since they were founded. So it speaks to Mackenzie Scott's wonderful vision of supporting historically black colleges and universities, as well as many other nonprofits across the nation. But this particular focus on HBCUs has been really good, particularly because she's doing it as unrestricted fundraising, and we can have a whole conversation about what that means. But at the same time, it also speaks to a level of historic underfunding that our institutions have experienced over these 150, almost 160 years that HBCUs have been in existence. So, these numbers sound great, and they are wonderful. $900 million just this year, almost $1.5 billion since 2020 that Mackenzie Scott has provided to HBCUs is wonderful. But when we look at it in the context of what these institutions need and what they have not received over these 160 years, there's still a lot more work for us to do.
So let's use our two Louisiana schools and the recent donations. Xavier University, I think, has more than 3,000 students.
Right.
$38 million. Pretty healthy endowment as HBCUs go.
That's right.
Dillard University, maybe 1,000.
About 1,000 students.
About 1,000.
$19 million private institution. Gemma Gentili, not as large as Xavier, not as large as Southern, not as large as Howard or some of the others.
Right.
So those figures are relative in the context of their sizes and the resources they have had and have.
Absolutely. So on scale, you can say they're comparable. Now if you talk to people at Dillard, they would say we would love to get to $38 million as well. But when you look at so nobody knows the formula yet in terms of how they're selecting these institutions and how they're determining what amounts to give. But the one pattern that we see is that it's scaled on enrollment. And so Dillard getting a $19 million gift with its size, just to put it into context, 5 years ago when I was still at Dillard, Mackenzie Scott provided a $5 million unrestricted contribution, which was the hugest gift at that time, was the single largest private gift Dillard had ever received. So so when you look at that, and now she's more than tripled it with actually a smaller enrollment, it's really on scale an extremely significant gift. And so we look at there are other smaller colleges, Voorhees University in South Carolina, and Denmark, South Carolina, $19 million with an enrollment similar to Dillard's size. These are, I've been in this business now for a little over 25 years, and there's this word that we throw around called transformational gifts. And so you have major gifts, which are big gifts. Then you have transformational gifts, which are the largest size gifts that an institution has received. These gifts are transformational to these institutions, not only because of their size, but also because of their purpose. And so it's transformational in scale of dollar, and it's transformational in that they can select the ways in which those funds are used. And so I think now we have to redefine what we call transformational going forward, because Mackenzie Scott truly has rewritten the book on philanthropy.
Wow. And, one of the things that we are not as used to in the HBCU world is naming.
Yes.
I mean, I worked at Grambling State University.
Mm-hmm.
I worked at Hampton University. I've been a part of advising at North Carolina Central University. I've had a number of higher education experiences as a student, as faculty member, as a supporter. And one of the things I've noticed walking around the campus is a bunch of buildings named after people who did not give the money.
That's right.
The buildings, the classrooms, the this, the that, they didn't give the money. Mm-hmm. But in some cases, it would be an honor to use your name.
Right. They were legacy names.
So they were legacy names. It's not that it's not worthy, but it's not like it's money is a reason that this has the name of someone like Knight, who gave $2 billion to Oregon. $2 billion.
That's right.
$2 billion.
You think about and we throw these numbers around, but I mean, $2 billion is an awful lot of money.
That is a lot to a single institution.
That's right.
And $2 billion to all HBCUs would be amazing.
Would be, again, I throw that word out, transformational, but it would transform these institutions.
Right.
That's
right. So let's go to kind of the norm day in and day out, week in and week out, what you see and hear and know about at UNCF and your experiences at Dillard in terms of what types of giving and the difference it makes with something restricted and unrestricted. And I'll just say, I have donated restricted gifts. I'll just put that out there.
So have I.
All right, so give us some context with that.
Mm-hmm. So most contributions that institutions receive, both in terms of the number of dollars that they receive and the number of gifts that they receive and the dollar amounts that they receive, are restricted for some purpose. Folks want them to go to the athletic team, or they want them to go to a scholarship. They want them to go to a maintenance fund. Most dollars, even the what we call the smaller dollars, right? The $1,000 gifts, and in many cases, even people will give $100 or $500, and they want them directed to whatever that thing is that resonates best with them. It's very difficult to raise unrestricted dollars in this philanthropic environment today. And I've been doing this, again, for a long time. And when I first started doing this work, most of our annual fund gifts would come in for unrestricted. And that really has transformed over the years, where now the annual fund also includes restricted gifts, because that's just how people wish to give. Mm-hmm. They want to see the thing that they like best supported. So to get an unrestricted gift to say $100,000 would be truly, truly impactful for an institution, because with a $100,000 gift, people, I've heard this term a lot called the black hole at institutions, and that is, you just put the money in and it goes somewhere. Well, let me just explain to you what the black hole is at an institution, in particular at higher ed. It pays for faculty. It pays for, when students get a scholarship at an institution, the institution is not saying, here's some dollars that you can have. It's saying, we're just not going to charge you that amount of money. So that's just revenue that institution has decided to forego to get students. So the funding and unrestricted funding supports that kind of thing. It allows them to fund those scholarships as opposed to just discounting. It allows them to pay faculty a competitive salary with competitive benefits. It's very difficult. When I was at Dillard, and this is not faculty, this is staff, these are fundraisers. I would hire fundraisers, and I would bring in people who had not been fundraisers before. And I would spend a year or 2 years training them, and they would become really good, and they would develop great relationships with our alumni and our donors and prospects. And then some other institution would come and snatch them up now that they had the experience and pay them a wage that I could not afford to pay them. So in order for institutions, particularly HBCUs, to be competitive, those unrestricted dollars, those are the black hole dollars that people talk about, that fund. It makes the institutions competitive. Deferred maintenance is one of the bigger issues facing all of our institutions. You go to Howard, you hear about deferred maintenance issues. They've had protests on campus. That's the Mecca. You go to...
That's one of the things that seems to be a theme at HBCU homecomings.
Right.
When I was here, and it's still this way.
That's right. I mean, and so you hear that a lot. Well, the maintenance is not deferred because administration just decided they don't want to deal with those issues.
Right.
The maintenance is deferred because there just aren't resources.
Right.
We have to make a decision today whether I'm going to pay my people or if I'm going to deal with this broken doorknob.
Right.
And so when we get this kind of unrestricted money, and like again, $100,000 makes a big difference. That's a salary for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about $19 million, when you talk about $38 million, when you talk about $60 million, that really now enables you to not only deal with the current issues that you have to deal with, but also look at what are the future needs of the institution. We've been talking a lot about what we call future-proofing institutions. And the way that, what that means is, when I started doing this work back in 2000, we knew that technology was going to change. We didn't know that it would look like AI. We knew that online learning was going to be important because it was an emerging thing at the time. We did not know that there was going to be a worldwide pandemic that made everybody instantaneously go to online teaching and learning.
Right.
So future-proofing means that, we know that things are going to change. We just don't know what they may manifest themselves to be. But what we do know is that there will need to be resources to take care of and deal with those things. So this kind of funding that Mackenzie Scott is doing is enabling institutions to not only deal with the current issues, but to also think about how to future-proof their institutions. How do you do that? You do that through endowment growth. You do that through building your reserves. You do that by putting some of those funds away. And I hope that these institutions are putting some of these funds in endowment, that they're putting some of these funds away, as well as dealing with some of the current institutions.
And let me just pause there.
Sure.
And this is your specialty, not mine.
Yep.
But there is a difference between investing and an endowment.
That's exactly right. No, there is. So, you can invest the funds and not make them endowments. So you can put funds into an investment account and you can take them out the next day if you want, if you feel like it's giving you the return that you want to get. Or you can put them in an endowment and say we're going to do a 4% or a 5% payout on that endowment in perpetuity. That guarantees you that, some amount of money that you'll have in the future going forward. My preference is endowment because that is, when you look at the strength of an institution, particularly the financial strength of an institution, one of the things that, these accrediting agencies look at is what kind of endowment you have. How do you know that there will be revenue coming to your institution over this 10-year life cycle of your accreditation? And the one thing that shows that demonstrates that is the size of your endowment. So strengthening your endowment is a very important piece of what institutions have to do. Unfortunately, our institutions, if you look at just UNCF alone, the median endowment of UNCF institutions is just about $16 million. $16 million. There are a few of them that are really, Xavier has over $100 million. I think Xavier might be at $250 or so million. Of course, Spelman is over a $500 million endowment. Morehouse has a strong endowment. But then there are others, right, that have $5 million, $2 million. But the median is about 16.
Right.
So the ability to use unrestricted funds to address the current needs, but also to build the endowments, not just invest, but build the endowment, I think is a very good strategy for these institutions, and this enables them to do that.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to have to take a break, and can you stay for another few minutes?
I can, yes.
We're going to have to take a break, and when we come back, let's talk some more about the Mackenzie Scott impact on HBCUs and would really like to talk some more about how we as donors, even small donors, should look at Mackenzie Scott. At some point, the good Lord's going to take me away. I don't expect to be able to give $38 million, but whatever I give, now that I've seen Mackenzie Scott, how should I look at that? So hold that thought. All right, you're listening to WBOK, 1230 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
This is The Law in Your Legacy. I'm attorney Pete Hamilton.
I'm attorney Ryan Hamilton. Losing a loved one is tough enough. Do you really want your family dealing with court battles and paperwork on top of it?
Whether you choose a will or a trust, think ahead. Take care of your family. Let them focus on healing instead of headaches. This is not legal advice. That's just a tip brought to you by Liberty Bank and Trust. For more information, go to libertybank.net or contact us at 504-915-5016.
Good morning, Wake Up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, and welcome back, New Orleans, to WBOK 1230 a.m., the Good Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton. I'm here with Daryl G. Brown.
Good morning.
And we're in conversation with Dr. Mark Barnes from UNCF, talking about the impact of Mackenzie Scott, millions of dollars that she's donated to Xavier University, Dillard University, and a host of HBCUs across the nation. So when just before break, we were talking about how we smaller donors might look at this mega donor in the context of our giving as we move forward, as now that we have this type of HBCU example.
Yeah. So, giving is a very personal thing. People give to causes that means something to them. And they give for purposes, for reasons that mean something to them, which is why most gifts are restricted. I was talking about, during the break, a personal gift that I made to an organization, and it's a restricted gift. As we're thinking about, and I want to put into context this notion of what's big and what's small, because, there's always this definition of what a major gift is. And I have personally redefined what that is, because what a major gift is what's major for you, not what's major for the organization.
Be a part of the Bible.
You got it. That's exactly right.
I'll pause.
There you go. That's where it comes from.
Right.
That's where it comes from. Mm-hmm. And so, so if you can make, a $5,000 contribution, you don't need to compare it to Mackenzie Scott's gift,
right?
Because $5,000 for you might be a very significant sacrifice out of your pocketbook. And so how you designate that gift is really, again, personal to you. My recommendation when people ask me, and I always appreciate the question, is that you can still do that thing that's most personal, most that resonates most with you, but if you can make some part of that unrestricted, make some portion of that gift unrestricted, then that would be very beneficial to the organization as well.
So maybe it's $5,000, and you say $3,500 must be for this, $1,500.
You got it. That's right.
Something like that.
That's right. Right. So that's
still
how
a majority.
Exactly.
Yeah, right,
so most of your gift is still going to that thing that you want to see supported, but then also part of it goes to help the institution do what it needs to do.
I want to say, first of all, Dr. Barnes, my wife, is a proud graduate of Dillon University.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's excited to hear this. But Dr. Barnes, a couple of questions. What prompts someone like Mackenzie Scott to give to HBCUs? And then secondly, how do HBCUs that you mentioned earlier that a $5 million was allotted at one time?
Yes.
What happens now? You get $38 million,
right,
or $63 million. How is that handled in HBCUs?
Yeah. So what I think what prompted Mackenzie Scott is, well, so the larger picture of it is, we've been talking about the value proposition of HBCUs for a very long time. 20 years ago, the prevailing question that I would get was, do we still need HBCUs?
Wow.
Over the last 5 years to 6 years, the question, I don't get to ask that question anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Mackenzie Scott has, because of all of the things that have happened in society, I think Mackenzie Scott has begun to really understand the real value proposition of HBCUs. So that's the global response to that. The more individualized response to that as it pertains to her is that Toni Morrison, who was her professor at Princeton University, had a profound impact on her life and told her and taught her about HBCUs. And I think that has impacted her in her decision making in terms of supporting this sector among all of the other organizations that she supports. Now, to your question about what institutions do with the funds, or how do they manage those, how do they handle that kind of money?
Yes.
Each one has its own set of priorities. And again, my hope is that they will put some off to the side. They will put some off to the side and for investment purposes or endowment purposes, but most of them will take care of some of those very current need things that they have to deal with now. Students who have balances, scholarships that they want to provide, all of those things that they have to take. Some of them will deal with some of the deferred maintenance. Some of them will help them build a new building on campus. So there are just a number of things depending on the priority. It's not, HBCUs are not monolithic, right? Each one is very different. They have a different set of priorities, a different set of needs, and they're going to deploy those funds according to those needs. But we want to see them take care of the current use, but also do something with the long-term future-proofing of their institution.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful conversation about HBCUs and the impact of Mackenzie Scott's millions of dollars. You say it's up to about $900 million now?
For this year alone.
This year.
Yes.
Woo-hoo. Thank you, Ms. Scott.
Thank you, Ms. Scott. Our angel investor.
Morrison.
Yes, right.
Indeed. And that relationship continued after her undergraduate years.
That's correct.
So she was able to pour into her before Amazon.
That's right. That's right. Well before Amazon.
Wow. Amazon was such an important part of her marriage and then life, which has allowed her to do this. So we're at the end of the Good Morning Show, folks. We got to make room for the front porch. And Kemba is in the house. I see her out there. This is Will Sutton with Daryl G. Brown. And we're going to wrap up this show for today. Lord willing, I'll be back again tomorrow. But guess what? The mayor-elect is going to name a new chief administrative officer this afternoon, and that is expected to be none other than City Council member for District A, Joe Giarrusso. And we have already scheduled him for an interview here at WBOK tomorrow morning. So that he won't be in his new role yet, but we'll know about his new role, moving from City Council budget chair to the top budget position for the city of New Orleans. Joe Giarrusso right here on the Good Morning Show tomorrow. You're listening to WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.